Good morning, MegaPodlings. It's Krazy Joe. We need to talk about Warner Brothers. If you have been following the news, I'm sure you've heard that hot on the heels of announcing that Wonder Woman 1984 is going to open in theaters and on HBO Max on the same day, Christmas Day, they've now come out and announced that their entire 2021 slate of films, every last movie, is going to open day and date on HBO Max as well as in theaters. This is a shocking move. Nobody expected this. So the question is, what's going on here? Is this a good decision? Is this a bad decision? What are the possible repercussions? So let's talk about it. First of all, let's talk about what this is. This is a desperation move. This is a desperation move for HBO Max. To anyone who's been following the quote-unquote streaming wars, HBO Max is basically a miserable failure. HBO Max really botched their launch, mainly because they weren't available on Roku and Fire Stick, which is the two most popular ways to watch streaming services. By not being available on those services, their numbers were abysmal. They did not make what they expected to be their launch numbers. People who were entitled to HBO Max for free because they were already subscribers to HBO or AT&T customers, people who were entitled to it for free were not even signing up for it because they had no venue to watch it. It wasn't on Roku. It wasn't on Fire Stick. They've since gotten on Fire Stick. Their numbers are still bad. They're still not on Roku. Terrible, terrible move. Though I suspect that's going to change very, very soon because a few weeks ago, Disney Plus announced their numbers, and in the past year, they have done, I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they've done phenomenally well. I think it's like 78 million in their first year. Really, really good for a first year for Disney Plus. And HBO Max, it was nothing near that. Nothing near that. They were doing piss poor, quite frankly. So they dropped, hey, guess what? Wonder Woman, day and date, Christmas. And people reacted to it. People liked that. You know, large parts of the country, theaters still aren't open. Theaters like my buddy Jacob, J2H, the J2H YouTube channel, who I do my podcast with, he's in Michigan. Theaters aren't open. I think LA, I think the theaters are still closed. I mean, there's large parts of the country where you can't go to a theater. So for Wonder Woman, made a lot of sense. Made a lot of sense. It gets the movie out there, this year. Where theaters are open, it'll open in theaters, but everyone else gets to see it on HBO. It was not a bad move. Personally, I didn't like the idea of day and date. I thought maybe they should have been like theaters Christmas Day, HBO in January, and you at least give the theaters a little bit of exclusivity. I thought that would have been a better move, but still, the way they did it was not bad, and people reacted to it. People liked it. So, boom. Guess what? You like Wonder Woman? We're dropping them all. It's a power move that basically overnight has turned HBO Max into a must-have streaming service. If you are a fan of films, you need HBO Max now. Yesterday, you didn't need HBO Max. Today, you need HBO Max because in one move, they have positioned themselves as the most important streaming service because they're getting all the big major Warner Brothers films for the entire year, same day they hit theaters. That is huge. So, in that respect, it's a genius move. It is an absolute genius move to bring people to HBO Max. I do think it's a little short-sighted, though. The pandemic, which has kept the theaters closed, kept people out of theaters, it's basically at its tail end. This thing is ending. As I record this, it is early December, and if you watch the news, you know we not only have a vaccine, we have several vaccines, about 3 or 4 of them. They range from 90% effectiveness to 94% effectiveness, and they are being rolled out. They are going to be available this month for healthcare workers and for people in nursing homes, the most vulnerable, and likewise, they should get it first, the people who are most in need. So those people, the people most in need, will be getting it this month, December. And it will slowly be rolling out. They say it'll be widely available by March or April. That's what they're telling us in the news. So around March or April, we are all going to be able to get vaccinated, and you are going to see these COVID numbers dropping because the vaccine's out there, it's taking effect. And by summertime, this is basically going to be a thing of the past, because the vaccine is going to be in effect, and we are going to be able to go out into the world again. The theaters will be open. And that's why I say I think this is short-sighted. I think Warner Brothers made a mistake in saying 1 year. I think they should have said 6 months, because they're going to take a huge loss in box office receipts. Let's not forget, while this is a great move for HBO Max, the real money is made at the box office. There has never been a streaming-only movie that made $1 billion, whereas there were like 5 or 6 movies that crossed $1 billion in 2019. 2019 was one of the biggest years at the box office. And, you know, that's where the money is. Disney knows it. That's why Black Widow, they're not putting Black Widow on Disney Plus. Though there's rumors now that they might. There's rumors going around that maybe Black Widow will end up on Disney Plus. But that seems to be more because it's gumming up the works. These Marvel movies, as you know, have a narrative, and apparently Disney Plus can't release the Falcon and Winter Soldier series until Black Widow's out there, because parts of the plot of Falcon and Winter Soldier supposedly tie into Black Widow. So there's rumors that they might need to just get Black Widow out there so they can release Falcon and Winter Soldier. But basically speaking, Disney doesn't want to do this. Disney especially, they had the most movies that made $1 billion last year. I think Aladdin made $1 billion, and Avengers made $1 billion, and Rise of Skywalker made $1 billion, and Lion King made $1 billion. So it's like Disney, they're like the $1 billion studio at the box office. They're not making that kind of money on streaming. So that's why they want these big releases to wait for theaters. And Warner Brothers is going to lose out on that money once the theaters are open and people are going back to the theaters again. They're going to be losing a lot of revenue. So that brings us to our other thing. What's this mean for theaters? Now, I hear a lot of naysayers saying this is the death of movie theaters. This is it. This is the death of movie. This is the final nail in a movie theater's coffin. Well, frankly, that's overly cynical and kind of foolish. And I'll tell you why. As we stated, 2019 was one of the biggest years for movie theaters. Movie theaters made a lot of money in 2019 with the amount of movies that crossed $1 billion. That was a big year for movie theaters. So people will say things like, well, you know, and I've heard this many times. I'll hear people say things like, well, you know, movie theaters have been dying for a while now. They've been dying for a while. This is the final nail. Well, that's complete BS, quite frankly. Theaters have not been dying for a while. Like I said, 2019 was one of the biggest years for theaters. So this is a model that has been successful, and took a nosedive in this 1 year. But it didn't take a nosedive because the business was failing. It took a nosedive for a very specific reason. That is the pandemic. We know why the theaters had a bad year. It wasn't for any mysterious reason. We know exactly what caused it. And once that cause is gone, there's no reason at all to believe that the movie theaters won't be successful again. Now, I always hear people say, well, once you start offering this stuff for free on HBO, you can't take that back, because people aren't going to want to go back to the theaters because they're going to be used to watching things in their home. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's just absolutely ridiculous, because I'm a parent. My wife is a parent. We got kids at home. And when we can get a night where we can get out, we want to get away from our kids. We want to get away from our kids. We want a babysitter to come and watch our kids, and we want to go somewhere else. And we want to go and we want to have dinner, and we want to go to a movie, and we want to sit down in a movie theater and enjoy ourselves away from our kids. The idea of my wife and I coming to watch a movie at home, that's a nightmare scenario. That is a nightmare scenario because we can't enjoy that movie. The kids are around, and even if you get them to bed, they never want to go to bed, and they keep getting out of bed, and they keep coming downstairs, and they keep No, we want to get away from them. And that's not just me. That's like every parent out there. You know, if you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. You get a night off, you want to get out, you want to relax, you know, and then that's just the parents. Let's talk about the teenagers. Let's talk about the kids. You know, you may be too old, but remember back when you were a teenager. You're going out on a date. What do you want to do? You want to go to a movie theater with your date? Or do you want to bring your date to your house and watch HBO while mom and dad are in the kitchen? Like, I mean, no, you want to get away from your parents, right? You don't want to bring your date home and sit and watch a movie while mom and dad are in the kitchen. That's not what any teenager wants. And, you know, you all remember. You were young once. So this notion that movie theaters are going to die is silly. Especially, oh my God, especially coming off of this year. We have been in our homes since March. We've been in our homes since, it's been almost a year that we've basically been stuck in our homes. We want to get out of our homes. The pandemic ends. We all get vaccinated. Everything's great with the world. And now to watch a big movie, we have to stay home. Again, nightmare scenario. We want to get out of our homes. So all these naysayers who are like, oh, the theaters, they're done. They're over. That's frankly foolish. It's frankly foolish. We want to get out of the house. We don't want to sit and watch movies at home, especially not after this year. I'm dying to get out. Oh my God, get me out of here. That's what I say every day. Get me out of here. I've been here since March. And it's not even as bad for me because I have a local theater that is open. Water Tower Cinema is open, so I can actually go out and see a movie. But I haven't really been able to do that so much because there's no movies coming out. I get out maybe once, twice a month to see a movie, and half the time it's a movie I don't even really want to see. I'm just going because I want to support the theater and something new is out. And maybe it's not something I'm dying to see, but it's something new. It's something new. And it's like, okay, like and to be fair, a lot of them are big surprises. Unhinged. I did a review of Unhinged. I didn't really want to see Unhinged that much. I wasn't that excited about Unhinged, but I actually loved Unhinged. I really liked that movie. So it was a surprise. We get some nice surprises here. But, you know, I don't know. The notion that movie theaters are going to go away is just patently ridiculous to me. And then you got HBO. HBO has been very smart about this. Our Warner Brothers has been very smart. They've said this is for 1 year only. This is for 2021 only. And that's really a smart move because it does. It puts HBO Max on the map. They're on the map now. They're a must-have streaming service now. But they put a sunset clause in there. So that means 2021, when things are back to normal, they go back to normal. They put the movies back in traditional fashion, and you got to go to the theater to see them again, and everything's back. So HBO, Warner Brothers, is being smart in putting a sunset on this at 2022. But I do think the sunset is still too far out. I think they should have made it the midway point of 2021. I think they should have come out and said, we're going to do this for half a year. So let's review the pros. This is a really, really, really good move for HBO Max. They put HBO Max on the map. The cons, I don't think this is a very smart move for Warner Brothers going like long term because they're going to lose a lot of money that they would have made otherwise. But there you go. There you have it. Every single movie coming to HBO Max. I'll tell you how this affects me. For the movies I'm dying to see, I'm going to go see them on the big screen first. That's what I want to do. I want to see these movies. I don't want a big movie like Wonder Woman. I don't want to see Wonder Woman for the first time on my TV, and I got a real big 4K TV over there. But still, a big screen 4K TV does not compare with a movie theater screen. The movie theater experience is superior. It's always superior. That's how I want to see that movie first. That's how I will see that movie first. That's how I will see Suicide Squad first. That's how I will see Godzilla vs. King Kong first. However, some smaller movies that I don't really care about, I might watch them at home first. I might. Like The Matrix 4. I have no interest in The Matrix 4. None. None at all. Because not only did The Matrix 2 and 3 absolutely suck, but every single movie the Wachowskis have put out since was a big garbage fest, except Speed Racer. Speed Racer was pretty good. But the Wachowskis, everything they touch basically turns to excrement since the first Matrix. So when you tell me, Matrix 4 directed by Lana Wachowski, I'm like, well, frankly, I'd be more interested if you told me the Wachowskis were going nowhere near this one, because they don't have the best track record. Out of 3 Matrix movies, the only good one they made was the first one. And then we've had Cloud Atlas and Jupiter Rising, and they've made garbage after garbage after garbage. So the idea of going to a theater and sitting down to watch Matrix 4, frankly, sounds like a nightmare to me, because Matrix 2 and 3 bored me out of my skull, and I just couldn't wait to get out of the theater. And if I go to see a movie, it's very rare I walk out of a movie. I have walked out of movies, but it's very rare. So Matrix 4, I go see Matrix 4, I'm expecting to sit in that theater and basically be bored. That's what I'm expecting, because that's what happened with 2. That's what happened with 3. So, therefore, I got no interest in Matrix 4. None. None at all. But I could watch it at home. I probably will. Because I know that if I'm bored, I can change the channel. I can just change the channel. So that's a game changer there. I will probably watch Matrix 4 now because I can watch it at home. Whereas I would not have gone to a theater to see that. But Godzilla vs. Kong, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, I'll be in the theater. So there we go. And until next time, keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander Adamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.